The Battle of Chickamauga, fought over 2 bloody days on September 19 and 20, 1863, stands as one of the most significant and devastating engagements of the American Civil War, marking the end of a successful Union offensive and the beginning of a fierce Confederate resurgence in the Western theater. The battle was the climax of Union Major General William S. Rosecrans' skillful Tullahoma campaign, during which he had maneuvered the Confederate Army of Tennessee, under General Braxton Bragg, out of Middle Tennessee without a major confrontation. Confident after this success, Rosecrans aimed to capture Chattanooga, a crucial rail and supply hub whose control would open the Deep South to Union invasion. In a complex series of movements, Rosecrans divided his army into several corps to outflank Bragg and cut off his line of retreat, but Bragg, reinforced by Confederate units from Mississippi and Virginia, including Lieutenant General James Longstreet's veteran divisions from the Army of Northern Virginia, prepared to strike back. On the morning of September 19, near Chickamauga Creek, Union forces under General George H. Thomas collided with Confederate troops led by Lieutenant General Leonidas Polk, sparking intense and disorganized fighting. The dense forests and broken terrain of northern Georgia made visibility and coordination almost impossible, with units often firing blindly or stumbling unexpectedly into enemy lines. Reinforcements rushed to the battlefield on both sides throughout the day, turning what had begun as an isolated skirmish into a massive engagement involving nearly 125,000 soldiers, 66,000 Union and 58,000 Confederate. Combat was fierce and confused, individual brigades attacked and counterattacked without clear support, often suffering devastating casualties in the process. Despite several Confederate attempts to outflank the Union left, Thomas's determined defensive actions prevented a complete collapse, and nightfall ended the slaughter without a clear victor. The second day, September 20, would bring disaster for the Union Army. That morning, Bragg reorganized his forces into 2 corps under Polk and Longstreet and planned a coordinated assault against the Union left and center. Meanwhile, a critical miscommunication occurred within the Union command. Rosecrans, mistakenly believing there was a gap in his line, ordered Major General Thomas J. Wood to close up on the left of another division. In following this order, Wood unwittingly created a real gap in the Union center at the worst possible moment. Seizing this opportunity, Longstreet, leading newly arrived Confederate veterans from Virginia, launched a massive, overwhelming attack directly into the gap. Longstreet's assault shattered the Union center, routing 2 entire Union corps and causing widespread panic. Rosecrans himself was swept from the field and retreated to Chattanooga, mistakenly believing his entire army was destroyed. Yet all was not lost for the Union, thanks to the extraordinary stand led by General George H. Thomas. Realizing the severity of the situation, Thomas hastily organized a defensive line atop Snodgrass Hill and Horseshoe Ridge, gathering scattered Union units and artillery batteries. Throughout the afternoon, his outnumbered forces repelled repeated Confederate assaults, buying invaluable time for the remnants of Rosecrans's army to withdraw in relative order. Thomas's stubborn defense earned him the nickname, the Rock of Chickamauga, and it prevented the Confederacy from completely annihilating the Union Army of the Cumberland on the field. Although the Confederacy claimed a tactical victory at Chickamauga, it was a costly and ultimately incomplete triumph. Confederate casualties numbered around 18,000, while Union losses totaled approximately 16,000, making Chickamauga the second bloodiest battle of the war after Gettysburg. Bragg's victory was marred by his failure to effectively pursue the retreating Union forces into Chattanooga, allowing them to fortify the city. This failure would lead directly to the siege of Chattanooga, during which Union forces under General Ulysses S. Grant would break the Confederate hold in a series of dramatic battles in November 1863. Furthermore, deep divisions and resentment among Bragg's own subordinates, particularly Longstreet and Polk, weakened Confederate effectiveness moving forward. The Battle of Chickamauga exposed the critical importance of command clarity, unit cohesion, and terrain awareness in Civil War battles, and it left a legacy of immense suffering, valor, and strategic consequences that would shape the remainder of the conflict in the Western theater.